Good morning, fifth grade. Today we're going to continue reading in our Civil War text. We have two sections that we're going to read today. The first section is Army Camp Life. And before we get started, we have a quick write. It says, who is your favorite celebrity? How would you feel if you met him or her? What would your reaction be? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the focus question. Today we are wanting to find the main idea of the text. And we are going to take a deeper look into what the life of soldiers was like in between battles. Our first vocabulary word, is portable. If something is portable, that means you can carry it around with you, like your cell phone is portable. The second word is tent. That is like a shelter made out of fabric and poles. And then the third word is artillery, and that refers to guns or like weapons used on land. So here are some cannons. All right, turn in your text to Army Life. And before we get started, we're going to ask a how or why question about the title. And so I said, how was the Army camp life for a soldier? Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the reading. And as we read, we're going to underline our answer to help us describe the life of a soldier in the Civil War. It says, soldiers spent almost all of their time outdoors. On campaigns, most men slept on the ground, wrapped in blankets. In the cities, troops often lived in single wood buildings called barracks. But when assigned to large camps, the troops slept in tents that held up to 8 men. Their meals were cooked on portable ovens in large tent kitchens. Soldiers spent their days practicing drills, repairing equipment, and doing chores. In their free time, they wrote letters, read, gambled, or enjoyed concerts put on by their unit's marching bands. All right, and I underlined the part about where they slept in tents, and I underlined the part about what they did during the day. And so for my main idea in box 1, I would write, at the Army camp, soldiers lived together in tents, made their own food, and shared chores. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for box 2. It asks us to go to the picture and caption labeled Winter's Cold. That's at the top of page 39. It says, a Confederate soldier painted this scene of his winter quarters. In winter, troops built crude wood cabins to stave off the cold. So instead of living in tents in the winter months, the soldiers lived in cabins. And it tells us that the cabins are crude, and so that means that they are built for temporary use. They're not built to last. So in number 2, it says, after analyzing the picture, describe the place where the soldiers lived during the winter months. And we would say soldiers lived in makeshift cabins that did not offer a lot of warmth from the winter cold. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the next question. It says, how does this information support your main idea? All right, and in our main idea, we talked about the soldiers living together and sharing chores. And in this picture, Winter's Cold, it also supports the idea that the soldiers were living together and sharing their responsibilities. So in the second part of box 2, we would write, this supports the main idea because the soldiers are living together and sharing responsibilities. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for box 3. It asks us to turn to the outside the barracks picture and caption at the top of page 38. The caption says, this 1861 photograph shows Union troops at their barracks. Signs on the wall indicate indicate the men belong to their regiment's Company 1. The soldiers in front are playing cards with the company drummer. And the question asks us, how does this picture support what you already know about soldiers in the Army?
Sorry, I can't take.
And so if we're looking at the picture, we see that, it looks like they have a lot of free time, which we know that there's a lot of time in between battles. We have a picture of their barracks, which is a type of housing we know that they lived in. And they are playing games, which our text also told us. So in box 3, we would write, this picture supports the idea that the soldiers live together in barracks and play games during their free time. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the next question. It says, what aspects of the picture are surprising or unexpected to you? I am surprised at how relaxed and chill the soldiers look, because they're actually fighting in a war. And so I would imagine that the soldiers would be anxious because they're putting their life on the line. But these guys are playing cards and they looked really chill, and that's kind of surprising to me. So in box 3, I would write, many of the soldiers look relaxed in the picture, which is surprising because they are fighting in a war. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for box 4. It says, why did the soldiers play cards at the Army camp? And we'll actually need to read this picture and caption in order to answer our question. It says, card playing was popular in the camps, but many soldiers would throw away their cards before going into battle. If they were killed, they did not want their relatives to know they had been gambling. All right, so we have to make an inference about why they may play cards. And we know that they had a lot of free time. And so playing cards was just a way to pass the time in between battles. So in box 4, we would write, soldiers played games as a way to pass the time and entertain themselves between battles. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the second part. It says, what does this information reveal about the pace of war? And when it says pace, it's referring to how fast or slow the life of a soldier was. So if the life of a soldier was fast, they'd be going from battle to battle to battle. But if it was slow, they would have a couple week break, and then they'd run into a enemy unit, and they'd have a little battle, and then they'd have a break for a few months, and they'd run into someone else, and then they have a battle. And so if the soldiers have all this free time, they're playing cards, they're doing their drills, the information reveals that the pace of war is slow and that the soldiers had a lot of time between battles. So in box 4, we would write, this information reveals that the pace of war is slow. Often soldiers had a lot of time in between battles. Press pause to write down your answer and play when you're ready for the paragraph. And for the paragraph, it says, how was the Army camp life for a soldier? And so you would want to use your main idea as your topic sentence, and then you can use the outside the barracks or the playing cards pictures to provide more details and evidence for your main idea.